Hi, I'm John Crawford and I'm blind. Welcome back, guys. Well, first of all, I want to take a moment to say thank you to all of the kind people who came and listened to our music yesterday. That was particularly recorded for our friend who is very sick, and that particular song is one of her favorites. So we wanted to take the time to do that. She went to the School for the Blind with us back in the day, and she's been a friend of the family for so many years. And we just wanted to record that for her and put it out there where she could find it. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit today about blind parenting. And that was a question that was asked. Do you have kids? And how did you guys do it? The short answer to that is that on most days, things like food preparation, changing, bathing, all of that stuff was really, my wife and I have always been together and we did everything as a team. If there was something I didn't see, she caught it, or vice versa. And my mom was close. So, well, we were really young when we got married, and our parents were pretty close at hand. So just like anybody raising a new baby, it's always good to have those extra hands in the house, and they would catch little things, but I don't really think it was much different than anybody else who is really young and has a baby for the first time. There's always a little bit of extra help around the house. Even things like preparing formula and stuff like that, we could, if it was a label that was too hard for me to read, somebody could read it to me. We could figure all of that good stuff out. The challenges came as our daughter got a little bit older. In particular, well, actually, even when she was an infant, because driving back and forth to appointments, getting to the doctor, to the pediatrician, and all of that stuff. And it became, even the driving issue was the biggest thing for any set of blind parents. If you are a blind couple and you have a child, then you know it, or you're planning to have a child, try to take into consideration how you're going to meet your transportation needs, because you're going to have to get your child to the doctor, and you're going to have to get your child later on down the road. You're going to have to get them to school unless you're planning to homeschool. And we have been down that road both ways. We did public school for a while, and then we eventually homeschooled our child for various reasons. But when our child was in school, getting her to and from school was a big deal. My mom and dad were always around for that when she was small, but they weren't always around. So on those days, we had to figure out other ways to do it. So we had to reach out into the community to neighbors and friends. So we found that it was better it was logistically speaking, it was just better for us to reach out to our community. And we had some pretty good neighbors that were always helpful with that. So driving was a big issue. Another one that you might not expect was during the early 90s, and that was right before all of the little digital thermometers came around and the ear thermometers and stuff like that. When we were still dealing with mercury thermometers, was taking our child's temperature. So if she got sick, if we needed to take her temperature, we had to get a little bit of help with that. But other than that, parenting was actually more or less a team effort, and we had some help from our folks, like a lot of people do. But I don't really think, looking back, that it was any more than anybody else, and it certainly wasn't solely due to our vision. We were all working. My wife and I were both working, and my mom and dad were all working, and we just kind of did the round the clock babysitting thing, just like a lot of working parents. Okay, so that's going to be it for tonight. I've got a big day tomorrow. So if you guys have any parenting stories or tips for blind parents or parents of blind children, drop them in the comments section, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night.